Hi, hello viewers. Alright, today we are going to be looking at how to balance a chemical equation. Now, I'm going to be showing you a little trick or a little step in order to balance chemical equation very easy or with ease. Now, follow me and watch this video to the end and make sure you subscribe or make sure you are subscribing or follow this page. Now, let's move. Before we start talking about balancing of chemical equation, we need to ask ourselves, why do we have to balance a chemical reaction? Or what is the importance of balancing a chemical reaction? First of all, the need to balance a chemical reaction originates from the law of conservation of mass. We are trying to obey that law of conservation of mass. And what does this law state? The law of conservation of mass states that matter can neither be created nor destroyed. So we don't want to destroy matter, right? We don't want to show that we have destroyed matter. Take, for example, when there's a reaction between hydrogen and oxygen gas. We know that when hydrogen and oxygen gas react, they produce water, H2O. Now, in this equation, the equation is unbalanced, but the equation is true because when hydrogen and oxygen gas react, they produce water. Now, on the reactant part, on the left-hand part, you can see we have two atoms of oxygen here, and on the product side, we have one atom of oxygen here. It looks as if we've destroyed one atom of oxygen, but no, it is not true. It is our duty as science students to show that matter has not been destroyed. Now, how do we show? We are simply balancing this chemical equation by placing coefficients of 2 at the front of the equation. Now, this 2 simply means that oxygen here has 2 atoms. Now, if we do that, we notice that we've altered our hydrogen to be 4. So we simply balance what? Hydrogen as 4. So this equation is the balanced equation. Now, what this simply means is that we need 2 molecules of hydrogen to react with 1 molecule of oxygen to produce 2 molecules of water. So these 2 here are the coefficients. Now, in summary, the total atom of hydrogen here is 2 times 2, 4. And the product side is 2 times 2, 4. Now, how about oxygen? It is 1 times 2, which is 2, and 1 times 2, which is 2. So this is the balanced equation for what? The production of water. Now, let's quickly look at more examples on how to balance chemical equations. All right, now quickly, we have 4 equations on the board. Now, let's quickly balance this equation with a little trick of mine. Now, solution. Question 1. Now, pay attention properly. The equation here is nitrogen gas reacting with hydrogen gas produces NH3, which is ammonia. Now, this equation is unbalanced because on the reactant side we have 2 nitrogen here, and on the product side we have just 1 nitrogen. On the reactant side, 2 hydrogen, and on the product side we have 3 hydrogen. Now, how do we balance it? How do we show that the atoms here are equal to the atoms on the product side? Very easy. First thing you should do, we need to balance all other atoms first, except then we balance hydrogen and oxygen last. So we take all other elements first, and then after doing that, we'll take hydrogen and oxygen. Now, the elements we can see here is just nitrogen and hydrogen. So we start from nitrogen. Now we have 2 atoms of nitrogen here and 1 here. So between 2 and 1, which of them is lesser? 2 is lesser. So we move over to the lesser side and write 2 over 1. 2 over 1 is what? Is 2. Very easy. Now, after doing that, we can now move to hydrogen. On this side, we have 2 hydrogen here. On this side, how many hydrogen do we have here? It is not 3. Remember, I said 3 times 2. These 2 affect both nitrogen and hydrogen. So this is 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is what? Is 6. So on the product side, we have 6 hydrogen. On the reactant side, we have 2. So which of them is lesser? 2 is lesser than 6. So we come to this lesser side and write 6 over 2. 6 over 2 is what? Is 3. So at the end of the day, we have to check if our equation is now balanced. So on the reactant side, we have 2 nitrogen. On the product side, we have 2 nitrogen. So nitrogen is checked. Now, hydrogen here is 6. 2 times 3, 6. Product side, 2 times 3, 6. So the equation is balanced. Now let's take example 2. Example 2 here, we have phosphorus plus sulfur gives us P2S5. Alright, now you can see the equation is unbalanced. Phosphorus 4 here, 2 here, sulfur 2 here, and 5. How do we balance that? Let's start with phosphorus. We have 4 atoms here, and we have 2 here. 2 is lesser than 4. So we come to this side and write 4 over 2. 4 over 2 is what? Is 2. 4 over 2 is 2, right? Now, the sulfur, how many do we have here? We have 2 here. And how many sulfur do we have here? It is not 5, it is 5 times 2. Remember I said these 2 affects sulfur and phosphorus. So 5 times 2 is 10. So 10 sulfur here, 2 sulfur here. So we move to the lesser side and write 10 over 2. 10 over 2 is what? Is 5. So at the end of the day, this equation is also balanced. Now, I'm going to take one example and I'm going to give you one as an assignment to drop on the comment section. Now, let's take example 3. Aluminium reacting with oxygen gas gives us aluminium oxide. Aluminium oxide. Alright, so you can see aluminium, oxygen here. Let's start with aluminium. Remember I said we start with all other elements before hydrogen and oxygen. Alright, so aluminium here is 1, aluminium here is 2. 1 is lesser than 2. So we move to the lesser side and write 2 over 1. 2 over 1 is what? Is 2. Now what about for the oxygen? Oxygen here is 2, oxygen here is 3. So move to the lesser side and write 3 over 2. 3 over 2 did not give us a whole number. So we simply write that down, 3 over 2. Now, after this, we won't leave our answer like this. We have to remove this fraction. And how do we remove fraction? We have to think of a number that when we multiply with this fraction, will give us a whole number, the lowest number possible. And very easy. That number is going to be 2. Definitely, it is not 1, it is 2. So when we multiply 2 by 3 over 2 times 2, the answer will give us 6 over 2, which is 3, right? So when we multiply this by 2, we'll have a whole number. So our aim is to remove this whole number. But we should not just multiply oxygen by these 2. Whatever we multiply by oxygen, we multiply it by aluminium oxide and multiply by aluminium. So in this step, we are going to write down, multiply all entities by 2. So if you multiply here by 2, remember we said our answer is going to be 3 here. Multiply this by 2, 3 times 2 will give us 6 here. And we multiply this by 2 gives us 4, right? Multiply this by 2 gives us 2. Now let's check. Let's check. Aluminium here is 4. Aluminium here is 2 times 2, 4. Aluminium is balanced. Oxygen here is 3 times 2, 6. Oxygen here is 3 times 2, 6. So oxygen is balanced. So this compound is balanced, right? The reaction is not balanced. So the assignment is this. Talk in the comment section. What will be the balance reaction between KClO3 producing KCl and oxygen gas? Talk to the comment section and make sure you follow this page, like and subscribe. Bye for now.